Welcome in to Coach and Company. It is another Sunday in the NFL regular season. Week 16 is upon us on December 21st. I am Mike Pendleton, best known here at the brand as Mikey P, sitting in for the coach. And I'm not even going to sit here and gloat all morning. I promise I won't. I won't do it. It was a hell of a game last night between the Bears and the Packers. Also a great fight in the Eagles and Commanders game. Saturday football entertaining from start to finish in the world of college and the NFL. But I do not do this show alone. So let's welcome in my guy, Rafael Esparza. He is our numbers guy for a reason. Rafael, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Mikey P. I'll gloat for you. Congratulations on a very entertaining W. So for your Bear fans out there, all my cousins who live in Chicago, they were all at the game yesterday, and they were texting me. Yes, it is really windy when they were sitting in here, so that they were not lying on the forecast. They said the wind was just. They said 20 mph, but they were telling me inside the stadium it had to be at least gust of 35 to 40. Very entertaining win. Congratulations, Mikey.
Thank you, sir. Here's the thing. Here's where the different demeanor comes in. It's not. I know Coach loves to give me a hard time about poo poo face and all that. I learned something last night, Rafael. That now when you win multiple and double digit games in a season, you got to act like you've been there. So when Caleb Williams loads up and throws a 46-yard pass for the game-winning touchdown in overtime, I don't know if you saw it. I know I saw it. A couple camera angles picked it up. He threw the ball. His hands went right into his hand warmer. He gets in the post game interview, and it's just like another day at work. So I've learned to temper my excitement because you just got to act like you've been there before. But one thing I will say, and I have no embarrassment about it, the Iceman is here, baby. We're taking that whole celebration over. It was a hell of a performance from Caleb Williams, which I didn't think I was going to say with 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. But we will get into our best bets. We will get into our top games of this Sunday slate in Week 16 in the NFL. But Rafael, let's start with the Saturday afternoon game with the Commanders and Eagles. I don't know that there's much to discuss on this game, especially from a betting perspective. But from a football perspective, I'm a little worried because these two teams play in 2 weeks from now. You had that massive brawl at the end of the game, and then the Eagles go for two at the end of the game when it's completely out of hand. Do you think we're just getting started between these two teams?
I know they still play one more time, but I think that game's going to mean absolutely nothing for the Eagles. So the starter is going to be in there. But if you're a guy that doesn't get that much playing time and you're in there because your starter is resting because of playoffs, I'm sure those guys are going to remember what happened on a Saturday, December 20th. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting. And let's throw in the division rivals as well. They're not just close friends, they're division rival friends. So it's going to be very interesting next meeting between those two.
And I know we've seen the NFL schedule makers kind of really come around over the past couple seasons, but I think last night, Rafael, just looking from a football standpoint, I think last night really set the tone for what we should see every single year at this point of the year come football season. And what I mean by that is whether or not two teams are in a division rivalry race, for the top of the division, like the Bears and the Packers, or one team is trying to get to the playoffs and the other team's trying to rebuild, like the Eagles and the Commanders, you're still going to see high intensity, high level football on, like you said, December 20th. Should this be the norm moving forward in the NFL?
This is, and if you're the NFC, did the Eagles offense wake up a little bit? Because they've had back to back showings on offense. We haven't heard a peep about any wide receiver the past couple of weeks in the Eagles. If I'm everyone in the NFC, the Eagles are quietly getting a little bit momentum on the offensive side. I'm a little bit shocked at how much defense the yardage and their passing gave up yesterday with Marcus Mariota throwing. I don't want to say crazy on them, but I thought the Eagles defense might have stepped up and showed up a little bit. And then on the Bears side, yes, they won, but people are going to have to think about this with betting numbers coming out, playoff numbers coming out. They beat what you talking about Willis yesterday. It's not like Jordan Love played all game long yesterday and they were losing when Malik Willis was in there. So yes, big Bears win momentum. I've been saying this all seems like months long. Yes, Bears are winning ugly, but momentum sometimes erases how they're winning.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only thing I'll say on that to push back a little bit is you can only play who's on the field. And you
Oh,
know,
I agree.
for Chicago, Rome Odunze's out, Luther Burden's out. The Packers obviously don't have Micah Parsons. I'll credit the Packers defense for playing so much better than I thought. I thought we were going to see an overhit. I thought we were going to see points on points on points. We did not. Some very questionable coaching decisions on both sides. And as a Bears fan, I'll sit here and say, and we'll wrap up the Saturday slate with this. I'll say this is not the time to get cute and unsuccessful at this stage of the season. So if you're going for it on 4th and 1 or 4th and goal, let's have your best play, not your cutest play, not your prettiest play. Let's make sure you have your most consistent play. I think we saw that on both sides last night. But I love the chippiness of a Saturday late December football game. I think it sets the stage perfectly. I said we were going to end with this, but I got to ask this question to you, Rafael. Thursday night between the Rams and the Seahawks, or Saturday night between the Packers and the Bears, which one was better in your opinion?
Not even I can't believe you asked that question, Mikey. It was the Rams and Seahawks game. No, it was not the Bears and Packers with Malik Willis as the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. No Parsons on the field. Wind gusts anywhere between 30 to 40 mile per hour. No, it was a Seahawks Rams game. Not even close, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, I just asked a question because I think it's going to be up there for game of the year, but it's likely not going to take number one because there wasn't enough points scored. Shout out to the chat, and sorry, I'm still trying to recover my voice, but shout out to the chat, chat queen Kimberly, JC1, RJ, everyone. Bruce is in there. Everyone's in here this morning, so thank you all for checking us out. All right, Saturday is done. We still have a full slate of games to get to today, which means we have best bets, which means right now it is time to beat the books. All right, Rafael, go ahead and get us started. I know you got 2 plays. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, this first place for Bruce and Bruce only. No one else can bet this one, but we're going to take the Falcons team total over 24.5. Cardinals' last 2 games, Mikey, they've allowed 85 points in those 2 games. Arizona has dropped 6 straight. Their defense has allowed 36.1 points per game in the 6-game losses. I love Falcons team total over 24.5. They're coming up a big win at Tampa where they scored 29 points against the Bucs defense. So give me that Falcons team total over 24.5. And then the Chargers, give me O'Marion Hampton over 63.5 rushing and receiving yards. This one opened up at 61.5. He's hit this in 5 straight games. And that would also even sprinkle him over 50.5 rushing yards. I think he has a big game. I think he's going to get more carries, more targets as the healthier he gets game after game. He's been playing since coming back from that ankle injury. I like Hampton to all over the field today.
Yeah, that should be a very entertaining game between the Chargers and the Cowboys. I've got 4 plays for you guys, as I always do on our Sunday shows. And I'm going to start off with the Bengals -4 against the Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers is under center for the Miami Dolphins. And this line to me shows that the books still don't believe in the Bengals or Joe Burrow. And I think it's a prime spot for the Bengals. The only reason I'm kind of gung-ho on this game is T. Higgins was questionable with a concussion. You would think you're out of the playoff race, rest one of your best players, look ahead to next season. The Bengals said no. T. Higgins is coming out. He will play in this game. So if you're still playing your high-level starters in Week 16 with no shot at the playoffs, this team is playing for themselves. I like the Bengals easily in this one. And then give me Bryce Young. It's an NFC South showdown battle for first place. This will be one of the most entertaining games, I hope, of this Sunday slate. So give me Bryce Young over 207.5 passing yards at a -115. And then the late game action. This one's for you, Chat Queen Kimberly, because I need your Steelers today. I need everyone in the NFC North to get beat up today. So I'm taking the Steelers and the Lions over 52 total in that game. I think we're going to see plenty of points. Remember that this game is played indoors. I always love that Todd Bowles quote. Rafael, have you ever heard that when the Bucks were playing the Lions and someone said, "Oh, the weather conditions," and Todd Bowles says, "You know they play in a dome, right?" So it's a lovely reminder that the Lions do play in a dome. We should see some points in this game. So I like them minus 110. And then CJ Stroud taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Give me him over 224 and a half passing yards. I don't know that CJ Stroud will play this whole game, but I do think the Texans will be looking to make a statement. So those are our best bets. Rafael, when we're looking at, and I'll just be honest on myself here, when we're looking at where we're at this stage of the season, when you're trying to do what we do here at the brand, which is break down best bets and deliver our best plays for ourselves, for the chat, and obviously we see the chat putting in their own plays. How do you go about when you have a team that's more than likely going into the playoffs against a team that's doing nothing? Do you wager on they probably don't play their starters the whole game? How do you handle these lopsided matchups?
This is when you really do your research because some of these teams who don't have nothing to play for, those players have something to play for, incentives, contracts next year, quarterbacks who maybe know that they're not going to be there. So they're looking for auditions for next year. So you really have to do a deep dive into those teams who have nothing to play for. A perfect example, the team in my backyard, the Saints. They've been playing some really good football. Tyler Shuck's still trying to show the organization, hey, I'm QB1 next year. I don't need you guys to draft a quarterback in this year's draft. I'm that guy. So I think he's going to play his heart out in the next couple of games. I think the young running backs that the Saints have are going to do the same thing. So just do some research and figure out who still has something to play for, even though some of those veterans are planning their vacations.
Yeah, tickets as low as $14 in your backyard today for the Jets and the Saints game. I'm supposed to go to Chicago. I may leave this my home right after this show and try to get to New Orleans by kickoff for those ticket prices, Rafael. It's the matchup we've all wanted, and Brady Cook against Tyler Shuck. I mean, you're right, though. And is it week 18 for you where you would say really proceed with caution because we still do have 3 games left on the regular season? You have player contract incentives. Is it week 18 when you really proceed with caution and you would kind of just stick to your research these next 2 weeks?
Most bettors that I know who actually maybe do this for a living or do this successfully, every week from now on, their bets get smaller, not dollar wise, but their team wise, because now they're preparing for their bankroll for either the playoffs, college football playoffs, the bigger stuff like that, college basketball around the corner, because they're not going to waste their, let's say, big bets. No offense to the Saints and Jets or something like that. They're really going to focus on stuff like that unless they see something differently. So you'll see most bettors look at these key games and just throw away the games that mean nothing to them. But a perfect example, you mentioned the Steelers. 2 books just moved the Detroit Lions to 7.5. If you like Pittsburgh, wait, it's a 425 game.
Yeah. So that's definitely going to be one to monitor. I think to me that might be, and you're the numbers guy, but from a football fan perspective, I think that's probably a game that's going to get the most action today. Just given the high amount of expected offense, the stakes, everything at play here. We do have a couple questions in the chat that I want to get to from Chat Queen Kimberly. She says, Chargers, Cowboys over 50 and a half, or do you stay away?
I would look at that because the Cowboys pretty much said they're going to play every game like it means something. So I love them for saying that. Yes, they are pretty much eliminated out there. So I think this game does go over. You figure the Chargers are going to put some points up. We've seen the Jerry Dome give up tons of points on there. It's not like defense rules in that stadium. So I kind of like that. I think the Chargers team total is something you want to look at as well.
And this is one for me. I'm with you, Rafael, because this is a game that I was just referring to with the Bengals. When you look at the Chargers and Cowboys, Cowboys are eliminated from postseason contention, and they're bringing Trevon Diggs back off of injured reserve today. No reason to. But this is a team that wants to get right towards the end of the season. There are a few teams that play with a little bit of self-pride. I'm not saying that the Cowboys are one of them. Jerry Jones is still the owner. But, there is a team that they can play spoiler. And I think that's important for some of these teams across the National Football League. It may not be your year, but could you ruin somebody else's year? And I look at the Steelers like that, even though they have a chance to make the playoffs as well. So I do think games like the Chargers and Cowboys will see plenty of action. I do like the over in that game as well. I'm actually very excited for this Chargers and Cowboys game because on the other side, the Chargers got to get right. Like
Yep.
they have to be healthy, be consistent, be in a rhythm with 3 weeks left going into the playoffs because they don't have a grasp on their division. That is the Denver Broncos, and we will get into them in a matter of moments. All right, we highlighted 4 big games for you guys. Let's start with the only one that will be played in the 1:00 Eastern slot. That is the battle, for the NFC South, the Buccaneers and the Panthers. And my oh my, what a showdown, Raphael! 7-7 against 7-7. So there you see the numbers there. How are you looking at this game?
Boy, it's a coin flip. I mean, literally a coin flip. I'm a little shocked that it's still 3. I thought we'd be closer to 2, 2.5, because you both said 7-7. It's not like either one of these teams are playing their best football right now. Both of them have some bad hiccup losses coming in to this game. If you're going to bet this, I don't like any. I don't like the total or spread. I just think it's such an even game. Then you just start looking at what quarterback do you trust more? Do you trust Baker or do you trust the Carolina Panthers offense or their defense? I'm trusting Baker Mayfield on this one. I know it's a road game, but we've seen Carolina lose some bad home games to some bad teams, so it's not like they have a really good home field advantage on this one. I'm trusting Baker on this one. I think Tampa Bay wins.
All right, well, I'm completely opposite for you, and
I know, I know.
that's the beauty of this show. And I love Baker Mayfield. I've said it all season. I absolutely love me some Baker Mayfield, and they're getting healthy at the right time. Mike Evans back, Chris Godwin slowly coming back into form. But there's one thing that I trust the Carolina Panthers to do more, and that's play better defense and run the football. It's going to be 59 degrees in Carolina. That's a recipe for good football and not sloppy weather football. But defense and running the football this late in the season is when it matters the most. You want to see that smash mouth style of football. And while I have Bryce Young over 207.5 passing yards as one of my best bets, I do believe right now Bryce Young is playing a little bit better than Baker Mayfield.
I would agree with that, but again, the number of Tampa Bay is -3. If Carolina had a shot, I think the wise guys, whales, or whatever you want to call them, would be all over the +3 at home. But they're not. This number has not moved pretty much all week long. So I think that put a little bit of red flag because I trust a lot of these big players that I've dealt with. I trust their mind. I trust what they say. And not one of them has mentioned this game at all. So I'm going to pick what I believe, no disrespect to Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield.
All right. Well, yeah, Bryce Young just called me. He feels very disrespected by
Disrespect.
you, Ralph. Yeah,
He should.
I mean, he said he can't believe that you would talk about him that way. Looking at this game from a player prop perspective, is there any one player on either side that you like more than most? I know Mike Evans just came back into the lineup. He had a massive game. The Panthers, more of a ground team. Who do you like in this one from a player perspective?
Even though I like Baker in this game, but I love Rico in this game for the Panthers. I do believe the Panthers will be able to run the ball against Tampa Bay. So I like his rushing, receiving, and his rushing yards. I think he has a really big game.
And I'm right there with you. We do not say his last name here at the brand, and I speak for myself and myself only. So Rico Suave, the lead back in the Panthers backfield. That's a hungry cat, man. That is a hungry cat, and I'm only, using a play on words for the Panthers. I really like him. He runs violently. And for someone like myself who's on Bryce Young's passing number, if Rico can get off to a hot start, I think that opens up the field completely for Bryce Young and this Carolina Panthers offense. Their defense is so underrated as well, Raphael. And that's where I think the trust comes from me on the Carolina side. They have cornerback J.C. Horn, the only corner in the league to have multiple games with multiple interceptions in one game. When you look at a guy like Baker Mayfield and Bryce Young, they do turn the ball over. Is to throw an interception a prop you'd be looking at today?
I can see both teams, both quarterbacks throwing interceptions. I would also take a shot at maybe live totaling. I think this game goes over, but it's a little bit 45 and a half. A couple of books have 46. I think if we can get a slow start, maybe a 3-0, middle of the first, or maybe close to the end of the second, I think we'll see more points in the second half. So I'm going to look to live bet this total. If I can get anything lower, 43, I'm probably going to pull the trigger on this one. I do see points being scored.
All right, let's move over. One of two games in the late afternoon slot. We are going to start in the AFC, a massive showdown. And who would have thought, Raphael? I owe you an apology, sir. All over the Jaguars this season, and they still have a chance to win the number one seed in the AFC, but it's going to be difficult for them today. Plus 3.5, heading to the Denver Broncos. What do you like in this game today?
Yeah, I don't think there's any value left in Denver. I think if you want to play Denver now, I would say buy the half a point to 3 because it would not shock me if we see 4 by kickoff on this one. Let's face it, Denver's defense really good. Denver has beaten some really good quarterbacks in their backyard. I think a guy named Patrick Mahomes went there and the Broncos beat them. So it's not like this is the toughest game Denver has seen coming in to their stadium. I like Denver. I like their defense and stuff. I think their defense gave up some points that they wish they probably had back, so they might be a little bit PO'd. And yes, I know Sunshine Trevor Lawrence is having a really, really good season right now, but I'm going to take Denver at home with that defense. So 3.5, I would say buy the half a point because we're going to see 4, maybe even 4.5.
Now, I was going to ask you, which quarterback do you believe in more? I know you're a believer, but you've also been very complimentary of Trevor Lawrence. So, which quarterback do you like more in this game?
Oh, I think Trevor Lawrence has another guy. He's just rolling right now. He's probably playing his best football I've seen since maybe his Clemson days. So I would say Trevor Lawrence, but Denver wins because of their defense.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a matchup. If you think Trevor Lawrence is going to do anything, he's going to have to pass a big test in that Broncos defense. And Raphael, I'm going to stick with 2 player props here for this game, because I don't know where to go with this game. I want to take the Jaguars plus 3.5, but given what you said, I may wait until we get closer and see if I can get it at 4, possibly even 4.5. I like the Jaguars to cover. I believe they can keep it close, but ultimately, I believe the Broncos will win this game, as shocking as that may sound. So two guys I'm looking at: R.J. Harvey of the Denver Broncos. Raphael, this kid, rookie running back, he takes over just a few weeks ago for J.K. Dobbins. His line is at 69.5 rushing and receiving. Do you like that for the Broncos rookie running back?
I do because I think they're going to have to establish the run pretty early to try to get Bo Nix a little bit more comfortable. Maybe some screen passes right away. One thing I do want to jump back on, you said you do like Jacksonville gets plus the points. If you're a Jacksonville fan or a Jacksonville believer in this game, then just take the money line because I do believe that they can win this game. If Trevor Lawrence can have a outstanding game, run and passing, I think he's going to have to do a lot of his legs to extend plays in this one. I think getting a plus money line, there's a couple plus 165s out there on that one. I would say take Jacksonville on the money line and then again buy the half a point with 3 if you like Denver. But it's going to be very interesting game. But I love Denver probably trying to establish the run to keep Trevor Lawrence off the field.
All right, very, very good. One more player prop on the Jacksonville side. I think this is a big reason why we're not talking about Brian Thomas Jr. anymore, and I think
No,
that's okay. Brian Thomas Jr. His receiving yards are set at BetMGM at 47.5. Is his line coming into this game right now this morning? Jacoby Myers is their number one. Tight end Brenton Strange has come back, but with Brian Thomas, if you're going to beat a very good Broncos defense, you're going to have to take the top off of them. And Brian Thomas, known for his speed, known for his big playability, if he can put together 2, 25-yard catches, which I believe he's capable of, we're going to cash that ticket. So I really like Brian Thomas Jr. in this one. I think it's going to be a fun game. Raphael's on the Broncos. And Raphael, just because I like going opposite of you all morning, apparently, I'm going to go ahead and ride with the Jaguars here, which leads us to the most interesting game of the day. Raphael, we're going to see how much you love the chat here. We're going to see how much you love the family and the people that we've built around this brand, because we've got the Lions, we've got the Steelers, this game being played in Detroit. Very meaningful for both sides. Who do you got in this one?
This is an interesting game because the Lions yesterday got to watch the Bears and Packers game in a nice, probably heated room. Probably have a couple snacks, maybe some beverages while they're watching that game. So now they know what the outcome they need to do. And now they're playing at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And before I got into this industry, you know what my favorite team was, Mikey? I was living in Chicago. You know what my favorite team was?
I'm guessing it was the Lions, and I'm going to throw up on
Nope.
camera.
Nope, it was not. My
Okay.
favorite player is Franco Harris. My second favorite player is Louis Lips. I know the chat knows Louis Lips, the wide receiver the Steelers had because I met him, was the Pittsburgh Steelers. But then I got in this industry and sucked all the greatness air out of NFL for me. I just think the Lions win this game. I just think they saw what happened yesterday. Now the Bears take over. I think the Lions are going to be too much at home. I think they're going to be able to run the ball against the Steelers defense. That's everyone has been able to run the ball against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. It's not because I don't trust the Steelers offense, which has been playing much better as of late. I don't trust the Steelers defense, who are still missing TJ Watt on this game. I just think the Lions at home, sitting around watching the Bears win yesterday on a miracle overtime W, they're going to want to show, hey, you know what? We're still in this division and we're playing this game in front of our fans. I think the Lions win by double digits. Sorry, Kim.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I'm not going to let you sit here and call it a miracle. All right. I'm gonna sit here and tell you that game last
You
night
know,
was won based off of heart, grit, and determination, exactly the way the city of Chicago was built. And you should know that, having grown up there. So how dare you call it it was a miracle. Looking at the playoff standings right now, Detroit on the outside looking in. I guess a game and a half back of the Packers because of that tie. So they absolutely need this game. Pittsburgh currently the 4 seed in the AFC, but the Baltimore Ravens right behind them. I believe the Steelers need this game, of course, more than the Lions, because the Lions could be facing a win and get in scenario in week 18 against the Chicago Bears. We'll talk about that 2 weeks from now. But for me, when you see a spread like this, that's at 7, Raphael, I know how I feel about this game. And for me, as much as I like the over, the reason why I put that as one of my best bets is because I want to stay away from this large of a number when both teams have plenty of talent. So is this a game where you would say player prop more than money line or game total?
depending on how high this moves, I think we'll see 7.5 because this is the Lions are probably the biggest tease team on the betting board right now. People are looking at that, say, "Oh, Detroit's at home. If I could tease it to 1 or even a 7 point tease or do it to a pick." So I think this number moves. If you're going to look at player profits, I say look at both running backs for Detroit. I think Gibbs rushing and receiving yards is a must if you're going to look at that one. I think the tight ends for Detroit have big games. And of course, you have to look at Metcalf. I mean, we all know that's Aaron Rodgers' favorite target, and he looked really good last week when he stiffed armed that guy 20 yards to get maybe 5 more yards. I would definitely look at Metcalf because he's just a freak when he's running the ball with his big ass arms.
When you have to have it, to me, this is a player prop galore type of game. DK Metcalf, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. You have both quarterbacks. It's so hard to sit here and give other receivers any love on Pittsburgh because they're handing the ball off to tight end Jonnu Smith at the goal line and he's scoring a rushing touchdown. Who would have guessed that? If you have an anytime touchdown, it doesn't matter. But sometimes those touchdown vultures can be featured in games like this. And with Dan Campbell on the other side, Raphael, I just think for me, it is going to come down to obviously, and I hate when people do this, and I'm about to do it, who scores the most, obviously, because that's how you win football games. But I think who has the more consistent offense. But it is Christmas, Raphael. It is the holiday season. And I just want everyone to be happy with one another. And I want this family to all come together. So I am going to go with Chat Queen Kimberly, and I am going to take the Steelers +7 to pair with my over 52 in this game. My favorite player to watch in this one is going to be Kenneth Gainwell, someone I know you liked
Yes.
last week as well.
Yep. Big game for him last week, and I think he has another big game. I think Aaron Rodgers loves he keeps on improving week after week. So I agree with Kenneth Gainwell. If you like any team you bet on this team, because I think we both agree we're going to see points in this one. So if you like Steelers, look at their team total over as well. If you like the Lions, look at their team total as well.
Right now, the team total for the Steelers -120 over 21.5, -115 over 22.5. I know a little juicy with the four nickels at the -120, but 21.5, I don't hate that. What about you?
I don't hate that either. I think both teams probably scored 23 points or more.
Yeah. And I'm not doing the math here, but no, that would not get us the over. So I when I was coming up with it, I could see a 31-30 type of finish. I think it'll come down to which coach doesn't make a bonehead play at the end. All right, and one more big game on the slate tonight, and as a Sunday night game, Raphael, the Patriots and the Ravens. And I wouldn't say it's a got to have it game for the New England Patriots, but after that nasty taste in their mouth, blowing a 21-point lead to the Buffalo Bills at home last week, this feels like a game the Patriots absolutely have to have. Raphael, where are you at on this game?
Yeah, this one's one of those toss-up ones like we talked about with the Bucks and Panthers. How is New England going to rebound after that bad loss against Buffalo? And everyone wants to say, "Ooh, Baltimore shut out the Bengals offense." That's a big deal. I mean, if you look back, if you erase that game, this Ravens defense is still not that good. I lean towards the better quarterback here, and that's Drake May. I look at the +3, and if I like the Steelers to lose, that wouldn't shock me if the Patriots win this road game and both Steelers and Ravens lose on a Sunday. I like the New England Patriots. I just think Drake May. I know he's still wet underneath the ear, but I think he's just going to have a better game than Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson has not even been close to MVP caliber we've seen in years past. I know Derrick Henry's probably going to run wild. We can all agree that New England's rushing defense is not good. I think in the third, fourth quarter, someone's going to make a big stop or get that big turnover. Maybe get some points on that turnover, and that momentum carries them in the third or fourth quarter and takes the lead and holds the lead in this game. I like New England.
So you like New England on the money line? So a little sprinkle, or are we throwing a whole
You
pinch?
know, I wouldn't. I'm not the biggest. Everyone knows I'm not the biggest money line. If I was gonna play a money line bet, I would probably look at Jacksonville, even though I like Denver in that game. But I think that game wouldn't shock me. Just the way how well Trevor Lawrence has been playing. This one, I would probably just take the plus points.
All right, I like it. And I'm with you when it comes to one part of this, and that is Derrick Henry. I love Derrick Henry in this one. I love Derrick Henry for his rush and receiving.
Yep.
I love Derrick Henry for an anytime touchdown. I think when you think of the longevity of the season that we have in the NFL, we look back to the Ravens Bills game when things really went south for Baltimore very quickly, and it was because of who? Derrick Henry. So I think he's starting to pick his game up a bit towards the end of the season. And when Baltimore absolutely has to have him today, I think they will. So I agree with you. I don't know if we're ever going to truly see, and this is no disrespect to a guy who has won the NFL MVP. I don't know if we're ever going to see the true full potential quarterback capabilities of a Lamar Jackson until they can find him a Amon-Ra St. Brown type, a DK Metcalf type, a true wide receiver when Jackson Smith and Jigba, the list goes on and on. That would be very dangerous for the NFL. But when Zay Flowers and 47-year-old Mark Andrews are your top receiving targets, I just don't see that working long term. And I think that's why we've seen the Ravens struggle this season Do you like anything with Lamar Jackson against this Patriots team?
I like his running. I do, especially if the New England. I think they give up. I can't remember the ranking, but running quarterbacks usually do well against the Patriots as Buffalo last week with Allen. But I'm going to turn things around. Trayvon Henderson from New England. Look at his numbers. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's had 7 straight rushing and receiving prop has gone over the number. I think he also has a big game. So, yes, we're all talking Derrick Henry. I believe you're 100% Mikey. Take a shot at anytime touchdown. His rushing goes over. But also on the other side, I think Trayvon Henderson has a big game.
Yeah, big play Trey, and you're welcome, New England. You guys can steal that from me. Maybe we'll make the merch
Yeah, let's
for it.
get some
I think
money out of that. Don't let them take
I
that,
think
Mikey.
I,
That's
thi- I
your
think
name.
we'll make the merch for Big Play Trey. I believe he's got 3 or 4 50-plus yard rushing touchdowns on the season, and he was not starting to begin the season.
Yeah.
New England, as much as we love Drake May, Raphael, I love this play from you because I have had Travion Henderson multiple times, in this season for his player props. And so I definitely love Travion Henderson over rush and receiving yards. This is one of those guys, however, I think in the next couple of weeks, Raphael, will we see that line change significantly if he has a big performance today?
Oh, if he has another big game, then I think the odds makers are going to have to wait. We need to add maybe 5 or 10 more yards to his numbers because he's getting more carries, more targets on the screen game as well. I like this. I feel bad for Trayvon because if it wasn't for Drake May, we would be talking about him for New England's offense success, not Drake May, but he's being overshadowed by the quarterback, of course.
Yeah, of course. Well, welcome to the NFL in
Yes.
2025. Real quick, Raphael, before we recap our best bets and get the hell out of Dodge, I want to talk to you about one big storyline that's come out over the weekend in the NFL, and that is a report from Adam Schefter that the Dolphins tried to trade not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 first round picks back in 2020 for Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. And this begins the conversation. I think Kyler Murray is done in Arizona. I think Tua is done in Miami. Raphael, is there a world that exists that the Bengals get a can't refuse offer for Joe Burrow and they trade him?
The story hit me bad 2 ways. A, why did you have to release this when college football is on it? This is just another NFL hungry media story because I've talked to many GMs and NBA when I used to cover the summer league when I lived in Vegas full time, and they would tell me all the time that people would call and say, "Hey, we'll give you 8 first round picks for Michael Jordan." No, okay, they hang up the phone. So this happens all the time. People just call just to either play jokes or to see how serious they are. So I believe the story, but this is a 2020. This is last time I checked, the calendar is getting ready to switch to 2026. I just don't understand the story. But if you're the Raiders, if you're even the Pittsburgh Steelers in your division, there's a handful of teams that they should call Cincinnati and say, "Hey, you know what? We're interested. What would it take?"
Yeah, I think it doesn't hurt to ask. And then, Raphael, the other part of that question is how much of the displeasure, the sadness, whatever you want to describe it as, the tone that we've heard out of Joe Burrow the last few weeks, without talking about teams requesting. Obviously, his arm talent, his quarterback play is one of the most elite quarterback levels we see in the NFL. Do you think on the other side, Joe Burrow has had enough and he could request a trade out of Cincinnati?
This is so weird because I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago and someone bashed me saying I didn't know what I was talking about. When I'm doing numbers and handicapper and stuff like that, now you have to look at social media posts and how people look at press conferences and all that. And I'm sorry, Joe Burrow does not look happy. I don't know what's wrong with him in his personal life. I don't want to, I don't, that's not my issue to know what's wrong with him. But when you see that on his press conferences, even when he says, "I'm here to stay, I want to play," how he said it and his demeanor and how he said it didn't look like he was thrilled to play the rest of the season. So now you're going to tell me I'm going to lay the 4 on the road with a rookie quarterback in Miami? You have to look at people's mental health, people how they react, how they're posting on social media before you put your hard-earned money on these teams or players.
Very, very well said. All right, two more things, and I believe I'm not taking shots, but you said it was a miracle. You've had some
It would come on, Mikey.
you've had some
It
things
wasn't
to say.
skill. Last
You've
night
had
was
some
not
things to say,
skill.
so I can't get out of here without just kind of being petty machete Mikey P that I am. With you being the older side of the two of us, I
Wow.
I just
Wow.
want to get your take. Listen, Raphael, it's only because I mean, you've experienced so much more life than me. So when I look at these two storylines today in the NFL, going to start with one we saw last week. I know you weren't like gung ho on it. Neither was I. Philip Rivers will get a second start this weekend against the San Francisco 49ers. That's the Monday Night Football matchup. I will not see you for Monday Night Football. So I had to get your thoughts on a second Philip Rivers start this week.
I just hope San Francisco wins. I mean, I'm just happy that Rivers' storyline is faded away a little bit, not like last week where everyone was talking about 44-year-old, 44-year-old, 40. I like the 49ers in this game. They're the reason why they're going to be a 6 or 6.5 point road favorite against a 44-year-old quarterback.
All right, on the other side, in case no one has heard, continuing with older, and this is just, I think, lack of performance. It's not very similar to Philip Rivers, but I do think it's interesting, worth noting. Jason Pierre-Paul, 36-year-old JPP, will be activated and play in a game for the first time since 2023. Raviel, instead of talking about JPP's effect on the field, I got to ask you, did Philip Rivers open up a door we're going to start seeing more and more of?
If I had college eligibility, I would maybe check to see if I could still play, but I never went to college. I think this has opened a door. I think we're going to see a lot more people like, hey, you know what? If a 44 quarterback can do it, maybe I can rush the passer for 10 to 12 plays a game. So I think he has opened up the door, and it's sad.
Yeah, Brandon Graham of the Philadelphia Eagles, I think since he ended his retirement, came back, I believe he's got 3 sacks since ending the reason. I mean, as long as you can get a couple stats on the board, no matter your age, why not go for it and pick up those nice NFL game checks? Okay, producer man, we know that everybody was not here at the beginning of the show. So the only way to get our best bets is if we can do it all for you. It's time to lock it in. Raphael, get us started. You got 2 plays.
We're going with the Atlanta Falcons team total over 24.5. Why do you ask? Because they're playing the Arizona Cardinals in their 6 straight losing games. Their defense is allowing 36.1 points per game. And the Chargers running back, give me Omarion Hampton over 63.5 rushing and receiving yards at -3 nickels. He's hit this prop number 5 straight games. I think he hits it for 6 straight games. I think he's going to be keyed because he's getting healthier game after game after game.
I've got 4 plays for you, 2 in the 1 o'clock slot, 2 in the late afternoon slot. Give me the Bengals -4. I know Joe Burrow has not sounded happy, but when the Bengals are taking on rookie Quinn Ewers, I think is going to be a lot of what we see from the Miami Dolphins offense. So I believe the Bengals win by at least a touchdown in this one. And then in the battle of the NFC South, give me Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers over 207.5 passing yards. Bryce Young will have to be the reason the Panthers win this game, no matter how good their running game is. And I really like their running game. Steelers and Lions, one of our featured games today. I am all over it. You heard Raphael and I talk about it. Give me the over 52 in this game. I think we could see a 31-30 type of score in that one. And then CJ Stroud. The Texans are taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. So this really should not be a game that jumps off the paper, but I believe CJ Stroud needs to find a rhythm and flow. I think CJ Stroud needs this for himself and his confidence. And with the Texans fully embattled in a playoff competition, sitting at the 7th seed right now, this is a game they have to have. I like CJ Stroud over 224.5 passing yards. All right, those are our best bets. Raphael, this is normally when I would say final takes, but given the holiday season, I'll start with one final take from you on the NFL this week.
I think it's all going to be about the 425 games. There's some really good games. And I'm going to say Denver, Jacksonville, because I know I said I like the Broncos, and I still do because of their defense. But no one's talking about Jacksonville. If Jacksonville can go to the Mile High and beat the Broncos, do we start to finally talk about the Jaguars? Because we have not all season long.
Yeah. For me, it's just a who wants it more. And that does not just mean in these playoff games. I'm looking at games like the Chargers and the Cowboys. Do the Cowboys want to end their season on a high note? The Saints and the Jets, a game that we kind of jokingly made fun of. Does Tyler Shuck want to prove that he is the Saints QB1? Does Brady Cook want an opportunity to show he can play at this level in the NFL? So for me, it's all about who wants it more at this stage of the season. A team we didn't even talk about. One of the teams that is most discussed week in and week out, the Kansas City Chiefs. Are they just going to lay over and let the Tennessee Titans, destroy them today? Or are they going to play with some self-pride? So this is definitely a prove it to yourself type of week in the NFL, and I'm super excited for it. I believe we're going to see some very fun and exciting games all across the board today. All right, Raphael, for me, and this is just for me, I will not be here this week. We will say a DNP coach's decision and brand decision. And I'm okay with that as I travel back to Chicago. So before we get out of here, because I'm hosting, I had to ask you any last thoughts on the holiday week that we have coming up.
Now I'm kind of sad I'm not going to see you till what? Next week? I did not know that. Why are you dropping some negative news on me? I like doing shows and talking shop with you, so I'm a little bit saddened now. Now my Christmas is ruined because I'm not going to see Mikey P until after the holidays. But it's the last kind of weekend, Sunday, last big shopping day to finish your Christmas shopping. I'm so happy that I have a wife that doesn't want gifts, so I don't have to shop every year. But Mikey, since I am not going to see you, I hope you have a safe trip back to Chi Town. Hope we have a great, great holiday, and tell Lady C happy holidays to her as well.
Well, thank you very much. And I kind of called an audible here because I wanted to say this to Raphael, coach, producer man, and most importantly, every single person that's part of this brand. And that includes our loyal chat members. Thank you for making this such a great year for myself, kind of getting brought in at the beginning of spring. And it's been a roller coaster, but we're here and we've made it through the NFL season. You guys have seen me paint nails, wear onesies, get a damn tattoo for my favorite team. And I wouldn't want to show this character with anyone else more than you guys. So to all of you, have a safe and happy holiday season. No matter what you celebrate, this has been an absolute blast. And we're only getting started here at the Coach and Company brand. Here's to a very successful 2026. But I will be back. I mean, we're not going anywhere. Who knows? Maybe from time to time this upcoming week, I may shoot a selfie video if producer man will be so kind to play it at some point. That's going to do it for us here at the brand. I am Mike Pendleton sitting in for the coach. This is the Coach and Company morning show. You can catch us every single day, Monday through Friday, on Stadium, YouTube, and our socials starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. A very busy week coming up at the brand. As you know, the coach, channel 156, Sirius XM 2 to 4 Eastern with Off the Ropes and Pro Wrestling Nation. So thank you to everyone for finding us and checking us out today. Enjoy week 16 in the NFL and have a happy holidays from yours truly.